Hello there guys and welcome back to the FIFA 20 career mode with Napoli, and today we're episode 25 of the career mode. So to start the episode off, you can see here we've got a game against Verona coming up first, January the 30th, and then we're going to head into the calendar to see which games we have coming up next for today's episode. So if you enjoyed today's episode guys, don't forget, leave a like down below and a comment and hit the subscribe button if you enjoy the episode. So you can see there we've got Verona, Bologna, I've got Fiorentina, and I can't remember the last team there, but you can see here from the league table, currently sat in 8th, not great at all. Last episode wasn't a great episode, we ended up losing to Inter Milan, quite a poor defeat as well, and we also got knocked out in the quarterfinals of the Coppa Nazionale by Roma, and they also knocked us out last season as well in the semi-finals though. So they just seem to be the team so far that are quite difficult. I remember last season we played them 4 times, twice in the Serie A, twice in the Coppa Nazionale, and then obviously we played them in the Coppa Nazionale this year, and they knocked us out again, which isn't great, because I was hoping Coppa Nazionale might be another thing where we pick up some silverware, maybe not win the Serie A, but they might be a little bit grateful, the board, you know, that we've won 2 true trophies. Obviously I'm not including the Champions League, hopefully we can win that as well, but if we don't win that, hopefully the Coppa Nazionale and the Super Cup, and hopefully finishing 4th, that is still the aim. We'll have to, you know, really dig deep here and start performing in the second half of the season. You can see we're still sitting in 8th, which is not great at all. You got Juventus there at the top of the table, only 1 loss, and it's quite hard, you know, to compete against teams like that have only got 1 loss. And I've noticed that seems to be the case in a lot of teams, or in a lot of leagues, sorry, shall I say, when you go across and you look in the other leagues at the end of a season. Like if you look at the French league, for example, PSG will be at the top. Sometimes I've actually seen where they haven't lost a game all season. And it's like, how could, obviously you can compete with that, but it's pretty hard when you're going against ultimate difficulty, because you know how it is against ultimate difficulty. Make one mistake like I did in the Roma game, throw it out or pass it out, and they can capitalise on it straight away. But anyway, into the Verona game here. 3 minutes in, we're already making some chances here. 7 minutes in, Zielinski there managed to make it 1-0. Good little goal there, and Zielinski recently has been sort of kicking up a fuss, saying he's not getting much game time. But we haven't really been getting much time in between games, so he's been starting quite a lot. Felix there making it 2-0 with a header quite close to goal. I'm surprised the goalkeeper didn't try and punch that one out, but he makes it 2-0. But anyway, back on my previous point, we haven't really been getting much time in between games, so the team's been rotated a lot. Like I say, Felix starting up front, Zielinski starting as well. We've got a new left midfielder, well not new left midfielder, sorry, shall I say, but a new starting 11 midfielder, how do I call it? Like, he's been on our last season, I think I loaned him out, or he was already loaned out, and then this season I haven't really played him, but he's got 86 pace, 81 dribbling, that's like his standout stats. He's called Verdi or Verde, I think that's how you pronounce it. But anyway, he's been starting for us. He hasn't been too bad of a player, but he's not great. He's only 81 overall, but he just does the slot there to come in, refresh players' stamina, you know, and do the job needed. But here, Verona managed to score one back. Not a bad little goal here, as you can see. He passes it through, loads of space. Moret there, straight across from goal. Never going to get to that. Well, I didn't think he would. If he could have, I wish he would. But there, another little attempt just before half-time. Now, I'm a little bit worried at this point, because I'm thinking, can Verona make it 2-2 and make our lives hell? Because I really wanted to come away with, you know, the win here. The 3 points, especially after last episode. Really poor episode. But here, another attempt here. Felix picking up the ball, loads of space, and I'm thinking he's got to put this away. He's got to. Possibly should have gone for the shot, went for the chip, and Insigne, I believe, putting it over the bar there. Not the best person to head in the ball. Felix again with a shot. Not a bad little shot there. See the replay here, and it's just going over the bar. Just going over. He's got a decent finishing stat. Felix. He's not a bad player at all. I just seem to be playing bad with him, I think. And also, he can play striker or centre forward. You can see that he's more suited to a centre forward. Possibly, I should try and implement, you know, playing him at centre forward or cam. I don't know. I've played him at cam. He hasn't really worked out there. So I'm just going to keep trying him now and again and seeing how he does. We do a little chop and change. Like I say, Verde on the right there. Like I say, because we're not getting much time in between games. I think between the Verona game and this game, I think we had 2 days, which was the transfer deadline day and a day after, and we're straight into another game here. So I'm quite grateful we got a lot of players, because I was a little bit worried we had too many players, like stockpiling players that are quite high overall, not getting game time. But right now, all the players are more than happy with the game time they're getting. But anyway, here into the second game against Bologna. and they're a tough team. They're not a team to mess about against. You can see here, 27 minutes in, a few attempts, not been able to make anything of it. Still yet to score from a corner in this career mode. I don't know what it is. I don't know if you guys have any tips. I know you can sort of like set up an instruction of how you want players to stand out in the corner sort of setting. But you can see here, slow day at the office for Insigne, and he hasn't scored for a little while for us now. I can't remember if he scored in the Roma game or the Inter Milan game, but I know just in this episode in general, it was quite hard. I think now playing him on the left wing, it's hard to get him in. I've got him on the cut inside tactic or instruction, shall I say, but he's still not really getting in front of goal. He's got a good shooting stat, so possibly he is right-footed as well, so possibly maybe cutting on the inside, going for the finesse is maybe the sort of direction I need to take with him. But anyway, into the second half here, and you can see we're still 0-0. You can see here Marlon picking up the goal, finally picking up a goal. A little bit worried was going to end this game 0-0 and only pick up the draw, but Marlon there picking up the goal. And he's gone a little bit quiet for us recently, Marlon. He hasn't really been picking up too many goals. Like I say, Felix, thank God, has sort of started to pick up a little bit of form. Marlon has started to drop off a little bit. Now, I don't know if that's because I'm playing him less, or sometimes I'm even playing him on the left and, you know, Felix up front, so he's not in front of goal all the time. But I'm starting to think now, Marlon up front, possibly swap it with Insigne, Felix at cam, maybe that can work out. If you guys maybe know a better system to play them in, please let me know down in the comments down below. Like I say, the 4-3-3 is great, don't get me wrong. I remember when I first introduced it into this career mode and I was like, oh, it's great, I've been playing with it, you know, everything, it's so good. But now, I don't really seem to be doing so well with it. Tempted to go with maybe a 4-2-3-1, I'm not too sure. But anyway, I don't really want to start changing formations every game. But anyway, into the third game against Fiorentina, you can see here Calvert-Lewin, 3 goals in his last 3 games. He obviously has come in from Everton, the team I support, if you didn't know. He's a good little player, don't get me wrong, and I think he's around about 81 overall for them right now. I'm not too sure. That's just going off memory from when I've seen him in the transfer market, shall I say. But 5 minutes in here, I managed to make a good chance and a nice little header there. Mertens or Insigne, I can't really see. The screen is so small, I apologise. But it's one of the smaller players either way. Getting a little head in there, near post, and very similar to the Felix goal at the start of the episode. So surprised to getting some headers now. We're not really scoring headers from corners. Well, I don't think we scored one at all, to be fair. But to get some little headers like that is nice, because them sort of chances can, you know, change a game. In fact, maybe not change a game, but you know, it can be the difference between winning the game and not, obviously. So Fiorentina here, some great build-up play. And they look like Barcelona there. I cannot get the ball. So many passes going on. And they managed to equal the game out there. Look at that. 1-2 and in. You know what I mean? 1-1. And it's not looking great so far for us. First 2 games we've won. But this game, Fiorentina putting up a fight here. Another attempt here. Maddison going for a long-range shot there. Goalkeeper's kept it out. And like I say, Maddison is getting in them positions still. I remember a few episodes ago, he's sort of getting up front, getting a little tap-ins. But now he doesn't seem to be up front as often. I say that now and he's taking a shot, but he doesn't seem to be in the sort of tapping position anymore. And I don't know if that's because I'm not pressing L1 and X as often, you know, to make the progressive run. I'm not too sure. But anyway, into the second half, still making an attempt, but still obviously wanting to win this game. I think I've put it on attacking at this point, trying to grab that goal, trying to get that win for the 3 points, because I've noticed in a lot of games, I need to start just going all out for the win. Sometimes, obviously, it's going to result in a loss. We do have the quality there to possibly push on and get the win. Another attempt here, pushing down the left, but flicked it too far. The defenders picked it up, but managed to win it back. Insigne going for the finesse, but it's gone wide, and the game ends 1-1, unfortunately. You can see from the match facts there. Possession, we're a little bit lower there, 44, but we still managed to come away with a draw, which weren't too bad. They were one of the tougher teams this episode, I'm not going to lie. But here, into the interview after the game, just want to keep the team morale very happy, or at least happy, because after, like I say, last episode, I'm very surprised the team morale is at where it's at, and I managed to knock it down there and just knock it down to happy. Unfortunately, I made a wrong response there. Alan, happy with all the game time, but you can see there he's dropped down to an 84 overall now, Alan, which maybe I should have, and one of the options to buy, I was going to buy with the money we had left over, was Pogba. Now, I was hoping I'd get him on a pre-contract deal because he was coming up in that scouting sort of like, I don't really know the word, the scouting log or scouting bit anyway, when you scout for players And that was a goal there, but unfortunately offside for Insigne. But he's coming up in there, and possibly I should have bought him, replaced him for Alan, because he's gone down to an 84 now. But would Alan like to be sat on the bench every game? I just don't think he would be. So instead of upsetting players and everything, I thought I'd just leave it as it is for now. And need be, when Messi comes in next season, if you missed that, we did get Messi on a pre-contract deal. When Messi comes in, need be, I'll drop Maddison back there where Alan is and play Messi at cam. So you see here, still load of attempts here. Only 30 minutes into the game against Lazio and hoping to take the lead. But Lazio, nice little attempt there. Meret had to come out for that one. Cross in there, but managed to deal with it, but not. The ball goes straight out to a Lazio striker or attacker, not too sure. And he managed to slot it away and make it 1-0. And it's still 1-0 here to Lazio in the second half. But we managed to play the ball through here to Marlon. This is what he does best. Through ball to him, but unfortunately he's gone out too far wide. We had to cut back in, and by that time, all their defenders have recovered, got up to a good position, and not really made the most of it. Another through ball here to Marlon. Good little ball, to be fair. And like I say again, cut back in. Oh no, sorry, I thought I cut back in. Gone for the shot, possibly should have. In hindsight now, cut back in and gone for the finesse. But unfortunately we didn't. Fabian here, rescuing the day, making it 1-1. And surprisingly, I don't know if you heard this last episode, but when I was in the skill games just before the game you actually play, I got chosen. My player was Fabian, and he's got 90 finishing, which I didn't know at all. He is, I think, 87 rated now, which is pretty mad to believe, because when we started this career mode, he was only 83 rated. I want to say only 83. I knew he was going to grow, but in consideration, like, it's only been a season and a half, and he's already 87 rated. I could really see him, you know, probably pushing on. I want to say 91, 92, possibly. I don't know. He's gonna go far. But unfortunately, we couldn't end up rescuing the other 2 points for that game. We ended up only settling for a point against Lazio. Again, another tough team, but we should have made more of it. 15 shots, only 7 of them on target. Not the best of days in front of goal. But a lot more of a positive episode and run of games today. Like I say, last episode was really poor, losing to Inter Milan, losing to Roma to knock us out of the Coppa Nazionale. But unfortunately for the Roma game, we've had to chop and change a lot of players. And like I say, that could have, you know, put a hindrance on our Coppa Nazionale performance. But this episode, a lot more better. 2 wins, 2 draws. Possibly should have pushed for the win in 2 of the games. But like I say, at least we didn't drop any points. But in next episode, you can see there against Liverpool. Now, last season, we had them in our group. We ended up winning both games against them. I believe it was 2-0 in the first game, 2-1 in the second game we played them. Or it might have been 2-0 in both, or 3-0 in the second game. My head's all over the place. I know we won both games, put it that way. So we play them next in a round of 16 in the Champions League. So that's going to be interesting for next episode. You can see here, I'm looking through some of the other players that have joined the list that are approaching their last year in their contract. Cristiano Ronaldo there, Dybala as well. Some of the little players that I could have possibly picked up next season. Ronaldo will be a bit 50-50 where I'd pick him. He might be declined a little bit too much now for me to pick him up. But it's just interesting to see what sort of players are coming to the near end of their contract. But anyway, guys, that's it for today's episode. If you have enjoyed it, don't forget, leave a like down below. Hit the comment section. Well, sorry. Leave a comment. Hit the subscribe button. And I'll see you all next time.